right, wrestling fans, it's Friday. You know what that means. It's another edition of the WrestleGeddon podcast. Dealing with some hurricane weather rolling through the area today, but we are all good. Everyone's safe and sound. No one drowned. It's awesome. No tornadoes. Other than that, it's been a great day. Great day. I, of course, am Chris the Heat Matthews, joined each and every week by your other two co-hosts, the Tennessee Jesus Carl Crossland and Garrett G Money Munn. Fellas, how the hell are you this week?
Pretty dang good.
A little wet, but it's all good.
A little wet.
That's what she said.
Oh, man. Awesome stuff. We've got quite a bit to talk about this week. I actually took some very decent notes this week, too. So
I know, I saw. I'm impressed.
Crazy, right?
Heck yeah.
Guess who didn't see him? Me.
Man.
Oh, that's all right. All right, well, let's get into it. Fuck you, Google. Let's get into it with the Randall Band entrance scene this week. I'll apologize ahead of time for the lack of slideshow this week, so I'm sorry. You're just going to have to stare at us a little longer. Awesome stuff. All right, Randall Band this week was 21 Savage.
It's your new favorite band, ain't it?
Oh, fucking terrible.
I knew it'd be your
terrible.
new favorite person.
Half the damn songs I listened to started off exactly the same. The majority of them really had like similar beats. Like there wasn't that much of a difference between a lot of it. It's like, I don't know. So, was not a fan. Not a fan at all.
I figured you wouldn't be. I figured.
Well, let one of you guys go first on that one.
I'll go first since I only got one song anyway. Because I know Carl's got like 5. Let's be honest. He's always got backups. Because he's got a backup plan to the backup plan. My song I picked was Said and Done. It's not said and done. It's said and done.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yep.
And I'm going to do Red Ops. And I'm going to officially be a member of the NWO Wolfpack.
Like it.
Nice. I went with Ghostface Killers.
Oh, you like that song? I bet it did.
Yeah, I did. I did like this one. Out of all of our listeners, this was the one I liked. No, but the wasn't very. Literally the only one I liked.
Hey, Chris, the rest of the week's gonna be like 21. 21.
Oh, awesome stuff. All right, who we got for next week?
Next week, we have a one hit. Well, that might not be a one hit wonder, but I only know from one hit. And we got the Georgia Satellites.
Georgia Satellites?
Yeah, they had like one hit song that I remember.
I can't
remember that song?
I'm sure
remember that song, My Honey, My Baby. Don't put my love on no shelf. She said, don't hear me know.
Oh, yeah.
Keep your hands to yourself. Yeah, that was like a big hit back in like when I was little, but I don't remember any other songs from them.
That is the only one I know.
Don't tell me no lies and put your hands to yourself.
Honestly, for some reason, I really thought it was like George Thorogood that did that song. I don't know why.
That sounds like him a little bit, don't it?
Yeah. I mean, that sound like you listen to the lyrics, it sounds like a George Thorogood song. Like
one bourbon one scotch and one beer.
And I ain't seen my baby since the night after the last. You're gonna get me singing that whole song.
That's just what it sounded like to me. So I was like, all right, cool. I honestly thought it was George Thorogood.
No, it was a band called the Georgia Satellites.
Yep,
Alright.
it sure is.
So Georgia Satellites for next week. Fantastic.
Heck yeah.
Oh. Oop. Sharing our Facebook stream across the Facebook land. Hang out with us. Oh, all right. Well, that's going to do it for random bands. I had something that came up for In Your Housekeeping, but I forgot what it was. So,
Damn it.
yeah, I know. Let's
see.
just...
No idea.
Oh, you know what? We're going to plug it right now, too, and at the end of the show. Make sure you guys follow us on all our social media accounts. WrestleGeddon Pod. You can just type it in and you'll find us with no problem there. As well as if you're watching, you should be on YouTube, youtube.com/forthecollection, or Facebook page, facebook.com/WrestleGeddon Pod. Make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the notification thing on YouTube so you get notified when we have new postings or when new episodes go live. But really, all you got to remember is Friday nights around 9 o'clock, and we're there.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks for watching SmackDown. Put us on.
yep. That's what I'm doing now. Watching SmackDown, podcasting. That's how we
Heck
roll.
yeah. Watching Michin versus Piper Niven.
I wish I'd go back to calling her Mia Yim.
Not a perfect person.
All right. Well, let's jump over to the instant replay. Oh, wait. This one I can give you a graphic for. There it is. Bam. There we go. I got a graphic for that one. All right. Let's get into a little bit of news that we've got here this week. Tiny bit of news, a couple things, but they're pretty big things. We talked a little bit last week about AEW Warner Brothers deal, how we weren't 100% sure, might have been last week or the week before, that nothing solid has been announced yet. They have reached a new deal. Dynamite and Collision will stay on TNT and TBS. We will be losing Rampage. We talked about that, the new show Shockwave that's being shopped around to other networks, with Fox being, the huge interest for that one. It's also come out as part of this deal, pay-per-views will move to Max. No date. Cool. I didn't see a date for when that was going to start, but hey, no more pirated HBO, or no more pirated AEW pay-per-views for me.
Yep.
So,
that'd be cool.
Kind of excited for that. That's actually going to be huge for them to get those pay-per-views on that streaming service. And hopefully that'll do something. They'll do something with Dynamite and Collision too, maybe replays or something on there. We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah.
It was also announced too this week, and I didn't get a chance to put this in here, but whatchamacallit? What the freaking crap is the Fight TV, Fight Network, whatever it is? No, Bleacher Report. Bleacher Report. That's what it is. Bleacher Report is closing.
The app and like news thing, or just like that pay-per-view?
Garrett, you giving massages?
They give him massages?
Apparently you're giving massages out, man.
Interesting.
Definitely worth the $50.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Alfredo.
Garrett, Garrett does give pretty good massages, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
He's like the puff daddy of massages. He gives a lot of oil, and greases you on up.
Gets into all those crevices.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome stuff. All right, speaking of Diddy and going down that route, Vince, Mr. McMahon.
What a great segue.
Yeah. The Mr. McMahon documentary has dropped on Netflix. Have you guys got a chance to watch any of that yet?
No, my sister has told me about it, but I don't have a Netflix subscription at the moment.
Gotcha. I almost done with it. I got, I think, one more episode to go. There's really nothing like you're watching this expecting it to be more focused on Vince and like his background and things like that, but Vince sits down and starts off this damn interview like, I'm not gonna tell you about myself. I don't talk about myself. Like, he's like, I'll give you some stuff, some nuggets that I guarantee they'll be interesting, but I'm not going into my whole life story. So you go through and it's interviews with like Triple H and John Cena and The Rock and Stephanie and Shane and a bunch of other people that were surrounded by Vince. They talk about a lot of the scandals, like the steroid trial. They get into a lot of the sexual harassment lawsuits. They touch on the Jimmy Snuka murder / cover up a little bit. They have Tony Atlas on there. I guess Tony Atlas will apparently do anything for money these days. But
Yep.
he is on there talking about, his era of wrestling and how, they are very abusive towards women and, just use the toys to them, stuff like that. But if you're, a hardcore wrestling fan like we are, you already know this stuff. Like, this is stuff that's not anything new to us, but, they're not really pandering to us. They're pandering to like a general audience that watches this type of thing. So, the episode I was just watching, they touched on the storyline that Stephanie shot down, the incest storyline where she was pregnant and Vince was the father. So they talked a little bit about that. And they're trying to get Vince to basically say that the Mr. McMahon character was an extension of Vince McMahon. And he kept denying that they are two completely different people, that Mr. McMahon has no traits of Vince McMahon and vice versa. And then talks about all the affair storyline and all this other stuff. So it's pretty, it is interesting to watch. So,
yeah, he released a statement too. I sent it to you guys, and it was kind of like on the same thing, saying like documentary is more of like focusing on the Vince McMahon character and not the actual Vince McMahon. Like I said, I haven't seen it, so take that with a grain of salt. But better than Tiger King, Chris, or no? That was good.
I honestly didn't watch Tiger King.
Oh hell.
I got the Vince statement pulled up here. Basically said, I don't regret participating in this Netflix documentary. The producers have an opportunity to tell an objective story about my life and the incredible business I built, which were equally filled with excitement, drama, fun, and a fair amount of controversy and life lessons. Unfortunately, based on an early partial cut I've seen, this doc falls short and takes the predictable path of conflating the Mr. McMahon character with my true self, Vince. The title and promos alone make that evident. A lot has been misrepresented or left out entirely in an effort to leave viewers intentionally confused. The producers use typical editing tricks without of context footage and dated sound bites, etc., to distort the viewer's perception and support a deceptive narrative. In an attempt to further their misleading account, the producers use a lawsuit based on an affair I ended as evidence that I am in fact Mr. McMahon. I hope the viewer will keep an open mind and remember that there are two sides to every story.
Three sides. There's
three sides apparently. There's the Vince McMahon side, the Mr. McMahon side, and then the Netflix director's side.
And the freaking truth somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. So, but he even did an interview in Playboy where he said he'd had multiple affairs back in like 2001. Yeah. So I mean, like, and when you watch this documentary and you hear like people like Bruce Pritchard talking, or Triple H, or John Cena, The Undertaker, Hulk Hogan, and they're asking him, is Mr. McMahon anything like Vince McMahon? And all of them say, yeah, like there are some traits in there. Like the Mr. McMahon character is Vince, but turned up.
Yeah.
So
I mean, his whole defense for the latest thing was that it was a consensual affair. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
We know you having affairs, man. Like, we know that part is true. So yeah, I mean, there may be some elements, but I don't think that like anywhere down there like this like wholesome, like lovable guy or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, so,
I don't think like Mick Foley or something is underneath like the McMahon character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I do have respect for Vince McMahon as far as the wrestling business goes, the business side of the WWE. He did take this company from being a regional territory in the Northeast and expanded it globally. And to give us a product that we all watch and enjoy today. I mean, props to him for that. Like, he literally came from nothing and built, didn't meet his father till he was 12 years old. And then, started learning from him, then bought the business from him and took it into that whole new direction. I mean, you think about that first WrestleMania and where we are now. So, I mean, I give him props for that. So, and that's pretty much it. But as far as like Vince McMahon, the actual human being, it's a piece of shit. So that's like, that's all I can say about that. No.
Definitely like that ruthless like businessman. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
That's him. Yeah.
Oh, speaking of that, the ruthless businessman, they talked about him going like expanding the WWF back in the territory days, and going in and snatching up the big stars from the territories, and then running shows in those territories with those stars. When it came to WCW snatching talent from WWF, it was like a whole different ball game. Vince said it was dirty, underhanded tactics that were very deceitful and should not have been going on in business. I was like, you just like hypocrited yourself, like just contradicted what you just said.
I mean, it's kind of like Disney in like a way of like, you look at a company and like, don't get me wrong, it's been like a very successful company, but the like main profitable stuff that made the company was taking like older stories and retelling it. And then now that, your stories can be retold, it's like, oh, we don't want to go to the public domain because Mickey Mouse is our character. But it's like, yeah, you had no problem with taking Snow White and Cinderella, the Ice Queen, and all these and making movies off of it. Like, that's like your whole motto. But now you're trying to prevent what you did, basically. You know what I mean? Like, what you did, like, to build your business to keep other people from doing it. And it's like hypocritical in a way.
I for one am interested in seeing Steamboat Willie, the horror Steamboat Willie. So
yeah,
I'll give it a shot.
And don't get me wrong. Like, some people, like, he kind of like reinvented like their name and stuff and their persona. But others like Macho Man Randy Savage was Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah.
You know, like you didn't change his name. You know what I mean? But yeah, there are some smaller people that he did change their name, give him a new gimmick like the Undertaker, stuff like that. But there are other guys that you basically just took them and their name that they already built and packages as that. Like Andre the Giant was already Andre the Giant.
Yep.
Macho Man Randy Savage was also already Macho Man Randy Savage. I mean, Hulk Hogan was already Hulk Hogan, whether he was wearing red and yellow versus whatever colors he was wearing in Minnesota.
Well, the thing with that, he wasn't. Vince McMahon Sr. was the one that changed his name to Hulk Hogan. He was wrestling under Sterling Golden before that.
I thought he was Hulk Hogan in AWA for a little bit.
When he got fired for doing Rocky, then they brought him into AWA, and then he was Hulk Hogan in AWA. Then when he came back to WWF. Vince Jr. brought him back, but he was under Vince McMahon Sr. was the one that changed his name to Hulk Hogan because he didn't like the Sterling Golden name.
Yeah, still, he had built his name in AWA as Hulk Hogan. It's not like
because Hulkamania, like he was doing the Hulkamania gimmick type thing in AWA before that. Like that short time that he was in AWA, this is all in that documentary too. They're talking about that, and then they brought Hogan back up to WWF, and it ran with the Hulkamania stuff from there.
Yeah.
So there's some tidbits in there that are pretty interesting to watch. If you guys do get a chance to check it out, check it out. If you got some time to kill. So. All right, that's what I got for news. Let's go ahead and kick it into the week in review for wrestling. We'll kick it off here with some WWE stuff. Throwback to SmackDown last week. We had the awesome promo between Cody and Roman in the middle of the Georgia Tech football field. Basically, they called a truce between the two of them leading up to Bad Blood. Basically, Cody's like, I got your back. I just need to know if you have mine. And then Roman finally agreed. And, they'll watch each other's back until after Bad Blood. And I think Roman basically told him, he's like, you're in my way. You're in the way of my life, I think is what he told him, or vice versa. One or two there. So it was a good promo. It was really great. And it's just like, instead of having that face-to-face in the ring, like you're going to like a neutral area, because you're looking at, Atlanta where, Cody's from, and then, Roman played football at Georgia Tech. So to have them at, the Georgia Tech football field and having this interview in like this neutral area was just a great concept, and it made for a really cool segment on SmackDown last week.
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. Monday Night Raw had a lot of stuff happening on Raw. Let's kick it off with the big one here, the New Day. Been seeing seeds for this for a while since their feud with Karrion Kross in the Final Testament. The brief introduction of Odyssey Jones, planting the seeds from Karrion Kross about Odyssey replacing Big E. We go from that, and then to last Monday, the New Day lose the match, and then Woods is backstage, and he just gets fed up with having former world champion and telling him what to do and how to do things. To the point where he's going to wrestle Rey Mysterio Monday night. So my question for you guys, is it finally time to split the New Day?
Split the New Day?
Split the New Day.
Yep.
Should have happened probably like 5 years ago, but it's all good.
Yeah.
Was it 5 years ago? How long ago was it when like Big E was champion and all that? It's like 2019 or something, right? Or 2020.
I think it was Big E. Was Big E post pandemic, like that first year after the pandemic?
Or hell, even when Xavier Woods, one of the probably could have split it up then. But yeah, they should have been split up.
Yep.
I'm not a big fan of a New Day though, so who cares what I think?
That's true. Very true.
He's been out. Big E's been out for 2 years, so it's March 2022 when he got injured.
Yeah, he's been out for 2 years, but he was like world champion in like 2019 or something, or 2020, something like that.
2021, September
2021.
13th, 2021 is when he cashed in Money in the Bank on Lashley to win the title.
Yeah, they just split up then.
Another question I've got: if they do split, will we get a Xavier Woods push towards a single title, like U.S. title, Intercontinental title, something?
Not a push right yet. No.
Maybe at some point.
So you gotta see if he can do it first. 'Cause he's never really been in WWE alone. Too much.
Yeah, because when he first came in, he was with R-Truth for a little bit, and then he kind of had a small solo thing, and I think he was just bouncing around between like tag partners before they finally did the New Day thing. So.
Yeah. But I mean, test the waters, see if the crowd gets behind them. If they do, then give them a title push. If they don't, then release them.
I think if they do break up, I think it's going to be on Woods, and I think he's going to go. Woods will end up being the heel out of all this. So
Have him come back as Apollo Creed.
Consequences Creed.
Mm-hmm.
They can team them up with R-Truth. Get Truth and Consequences again.
There you go.
Oh, awesome. But if now the final question I've got here, if the New Day doesn't happen to split like relatively soon, could we see a return of Big E on TV as maybe the voice of reason for the New Day?
What do you mean voice of reason? Like as a manager, or
like in a manager type role, maybe trying to keep them together for a little bit longer, is something like that.
I mean, I would have to look at their merch sales lately. I mean, that's like the whole thing that's kept them together at this point. Is because as much as I hate them, they do sell like a lot of merch. They do sell like a lot of action figures. They're popular among kids. So this depends on their merch sales. If they, this is like a little bit of attention that they're getting because it's been a while since they've really been like featured in a storyline. If their merch sales go up, then yeah, I could see Big E popping up and being like a voice of reason, and them, trying to milk their cow for as much as they can keep milking it. If not, then they'll probably split them up and see what they can do.
I think my only thing with it is like I feel like if they brought Big E back into it as a voice of reason, is it would make Woods kind of leave more. Because it seems like he just wants it to be him, and like they don't need E to be in the group to be the group. And I think bringing it in would like kind of further where Woods is at of like, oh, Kofi's getting this guy just to make sure that we stay together. Like we don't need, and I think that's what it would end up being, is him saying like, we don't need E. Like, he doesn't need to be here for us to be thing. But if that's what you think, then I don't want to be this, you know? And that's where I would be with it.
Awesome. I'm interested either way they go with this.
100%.
Like I said, New Day's they've been around for a while. They're arguably one of the greatest tag teams / factions of the modern era of wrestling.
You definitely would be arguing. You definitely would be arguing.
If you think about, if you look at tag team wrestling in the last 10 years in WWE, who's it been?
Yes,
it's been the Usos and the New Day.
They have been successful. I'll give you that. Like, they've been successful. They sell a lot of merch. I just don't like their matches, and I don't like their gimmick. If I'm being totally honest,
it's not very positive, Carl.
They're like the Orange Cassidys of fucking tag teams.
Oh, awesome! All right, one of the other big things coming out of
I like to pretend wrestling's real, and it's like hard to do when fucking New Day's out there wrestling. And they got fucking pancakes and bullshit videos.
Hey, I do have their Budios box set that comes with like 3 wrestling figures. I think it's awesome.
Heck yeah.
Coming out of Raw too. Speaking of singles championships, Jey Uso, after 14 years in the company, gets its first singles title, new Intercontinental Champion, defeating Braun Breaker in the main event on Raw Monday night.
Love it.
And of course,
I like it.
Rikishi said it wasn't big enough. It wasn't built up well enough. It should have been a bigger moment. You just can't please Rikishi on anything.
I disagree. Like, in the fact that I love it because it was like a surprise, you know. And it's been a while since we had like a surprise title switch.
Absolutely.
And it was like one of those things where like the whole time we're trying to figure out like, well, how is Braun Breaker going to win this, and how they still make like Jey look good with Braun beating him, and fucking he won. It's like it's a surprise. Nobody saw it coming. So I definitely enjoyed that aspect.
You got Rikishi bitching about how they're booking Jey, and then all of a sudden Jey comes out, wins the title in the main event on Raw, and then he's still not happy. Like, dude, shut the fuck up, man.
I mean, he's a dad. You know what I mean? Like, you want him to win main event WrestleMania. You know, it's just that kind of thing.
Well, I know that crowd went ape shit when he won. I mean, it's definitely well-deserved title win for Jey. I'm excited to see where they go with this with maybe Jey Uso. The whole stuff with Rhea Ripley. If you saw from her Twitter video, her tweet that she put out with during Jay's entrance, her out there yeeting with the crowd. Oh, I mean, they got a pretty compelling story, at least with the two of them going into Bad Blood.
Maybe Rhea Ripley, Jey Uso, and Kofi Kingston will all team up together and become a New Day.
Oh my God.
The new Judgment Day. Oh man! Speaking of Rhea Ripley, stipulation was added to the women's championship match between her and Liv Morgan. Dominic Mysterio, Dirty Dom, going behind bars again. Put him in a shark.
I don't want to say that, man.
Above
that
the ring.
Fucking bars changing, man. And
oh man, which is funny because we talked about it a couple weeks ago when he did that interview with I think it was with Logan Paul or Chris Van Vliet. He did the interview with Chris Van Vliet, and they were talking about the ladder match, the custody of Dominic ladder match. And they wanted to put the kid in a shark cage above the ring. So we've come full circle. About 20 years later, we're getting Dom in a shark cage above the ring.
I love it.
Oh, I think it's gonna be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. So. I just want to see what Dom's gonna do in the cage. Like, you know, he's gonna drop something down into the ring. He's gonna do something to ensure that.
Oh yeah.
So
Mhm.
I just see it. The whole thing is like, I can't go behind bars again. I can't lock me up again.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
It's awesome.
The fact that like him, that's how far he's came. The fact that he's like in a fucking cage above a ring, he's gonna draw so much heat. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
did you ever expect like to look forward to Dominic Mysterio being on TV at all when he first
Oh.
debuted with his father? And we're like, this fucking kid sucks. You know what I mean? But dude has put in the work, man. Like,
yes,
I love this guy. He's
become
the one.
like, started off as like one of the worst people ever that nobody wanted to see and booed because we generally hated him, to a genuine heel that we boo because we love him now. So,
Mhm.
that's awesome. I love Dirty Dom. Oh man! Final thing for Raw, what I got on here, they showed a graphic. It was a flaming circle with the letters PRF in it, and a voiceover saying "Fate is woven."
Mhm.
Thoughts on this? Well,
It's the Viking Raiders.
it's the Viking Raiders.
The Viking Raiders, PRF.
Yeah, it's not actually letters. They're runes, and they translate to WAR. Are the letters that they translate to. So it's war. So, which
You don't
makes
think
me
it's the
believe.
Lucha Brothers?
No, it's not the Lucha Brothers. Apparently they're putting an extension on Rey Fenix's contract for the amount of time that he was out injured last year. So they will pretty much be going anywhere till that contract is up.
So it's not,
yeah.
not true that that's not what they'll be.
Yeah, unfortunately not. That's what I had for follow up. I think. Yeah, WWE sources said that the Lucha Brothers have not signed an agreement with WWE.
Damn it.
But yeah, so those runes spell out war, which leads me to believe that Triple H is bringing them back as the War Raiders, like they were in NXT, instead of the Viking Raiders.
Let's hope.
Or what if they're relaunching Raw's War, and it's this war for Raw's War?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you something. They are relaunching Saturday Night Main Event.
Yeah, we talked about that.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
Heck yeah.
With Jesse Ventura returning for color commentary.
Love
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I'm excited for that part of it. Let's see what else we got going on. That was pretty much it for Raw. NXT, we had the face-to-face between Julia and Roxanne Perez as they signed a contract for the October 1st edition of NXT. On the CW, Stephanie Vaquer shows up via satellite and makes her intentions known that whoever wins that match, she's got next, pretty much. So there's a couple matches there that we're definitely can look forward to for NXT for the women's division.
Was she via satellite or was she just on like Skype?
I don't know. It just said she was live from wherever.
I know. I'm just.
It's
I'm
via
just
satellite,
joking.
man. It's always via satellite. I don't care. It could be via Zoom. I don't care. It's still via satellite.
Well, it's funny. Like back in the day, it used to be like either like pre-taped or like they were like backstage and claim they're via satellite.
Via satellite.
Like, via satellite. Like, look where you're backstage.
It's always be via satellite. Oh man, pretty excited for that though. So that should be shaping up pretty well there. Did you guys happen to see anything for AEW's Grand Slam for Dynamite?
Not really.
I did not saw like a few like TikToks like referencing it, but I didn't watch like a complete match or anything like that on there.
All right. So Grand Slam kicked off with Bryan Danielson taking on Nigel McGuinness. Pretty much started. McGuinness was in the ring. They played Danielson's, Flight of the Valkyries remix song. He didn't come out. Nigel demanded the ref start the 10 count to get the victory. Ref got to 8, and then final countdown started, and Danielson came out. Really good match between the two of them, as you'd expect if you've seen any of the other previous matches between Danielson and McGuinness. Danielson did pick up the win with McGuinness tapping out, and that officially closes the book on Nigel McGuinness and Bryan Danielson as Danielson continues his retirement tour. Great match. This one was actually pretty good too. Hook versus Roderick Strong for the FTW title. Hook ended up retaining this, and in a huge twist, Hook retires the FTW title.
Whoa.
Carl, what are your thoughts on that one? So I know you're with the title belts.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing to retire it. They didn't do a whole lot with it, and that's cool. So I think it was like better to retire it than to, give it to somebody stupid.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that one too, because it's one less title they have to worry about, one less title that they have to try to work into a show. And I think you've pretty much shown that Hook can do stuff in the ring. Hook can hold a title, run with the title, make it interesting. I think it's time to move him into something like maybe the Continental. What's the other one of the other titles that they got to, or something like that? One of the other mid-card titles. Have him move
Ring
into
of Honor, World Champion.
Yeah, something. So I'd like to see. Actually, I wouldn't mind seeing Hook versus Okada.
Yeah, it'd probably be a pretty good match. I don't know if they'd be willing to let Okada lose the Hook.
Yeah,
but
that is definitely true. Sure, be pretty good. I
don't know if it's true or not, but I heard Okada has creative control over his matches and stuff.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. And I kind of feel like a lot of the talent in AEW has some sort of creative control or, heavy creative input on where their characters go and what their matches entail. I don't think Tony Khan really puts a kibosh on a lot of that stuff. But, we got an update on the status of Swerve Strickland as Prince Nana hit the stage, only to be interrupted by none other than Montel Vontavious Porter, MVP, debuting for AEW, basically running down Swerve's career and how he's been watching Swerve lose this match, lose that match, lose this one over the last few months. My question with MVP's debut, how far behind are the rest of the Hurt Syndicate?
I know a lot of people were disappointed that he didn't debut Bobby Lashley. Like, everybody was thinking that Bobby Lashley was going to debut as soon as the MVP came out.
And that's immediately what I thought too. Is like, all right, here comes MVP Lashley and Shelton. Like, but then just MVP came out. It's like, where's the other two?
Yeah. But I preferred Swerve as a heel. I haven't been too happy about his hardcore matches. But as far as wrestler, he's one of the best ones they have. And then to me, like if you could like pair him with Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and you know, I don't know if they signed anyone else, but maybe even throw like Ricochet in there. To me, you could have like a better faction than the factions that you have, since AEW loves factions.
Yeah.
But to me, like if you do create that faction, you have to push them, because that was like the biggest thing with WWE, except for the 2-3 weeks that they had the tag team titles. I mean, I know Bobby Lashley kept the world title for a little bit, but they just didn't get that push in WWE. If you push them, it'll be a good thing. But if you're not going to push them, and you're just bringing them out there to lose matches or have a feud with like Chris Jericho, whatever society he's going to create next, I mean, it'd be a lost cause.
And that's the biggest thing with that too, with the Hurt Business. Like Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander were a very underrated and entertaining tag team at that time frame, and they should have held those belts a little longer. Like,
and to me, it's like they did the same thing like with they're doing the same thing with the Guerrillas of Destiny, like in the Bloodline. It's like for some reason they think like you can't have a heel tag team like be dominant for some reason. Like I don't get that about WWE. It's like, dude, like you're missing the point. Like don't make them look like fucking stooges. Like let them be a dominant tag team. Like Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard. You know what I mean? Like,
and honestly, the last dominant heel tag team in WWE was the Usos. During that whole that first Bloodline run, when they got the tag titles and they held it up until that WrestleMania, they lost to KO and Sammy. Like that was the last time we saw a dominant tag team. So, like, and there's no reason why God can't be that dominant tag team now. They're two great wrestlers, have a great look, they have a great in-ring ability. Like Tonga Loa needs to stay off the microphone and let Tama Tonga do the talking, but.
Yeah,
I mean that's
sure. Hey! You don't like that?
That's Tama Tonga.
I know. He's the good one.
Yeah, Tonga Loa is not so good. As far as on the mic goes. So it's funny too because you watch that and you're like, "What the hell is Tama Tonga doing? Like, what's he doing?"
That's what most people do.
You can tell people have never seen him in New Japan because that's the same shit he did in New Japan. So, but it's okay. Like, you don't have to watch everything to know who these people are. Like, you get introduced to them through WWE. That's cool too. Like, that's how a lot of wrestlers I got introduced to as a kid was through WWE. And through like WCW. I didn't watch New Japan Pro Wrestling. I didn't really know who the Great Muta was until I saw him debut in WCW. So,
yeah.
And the same thing with Yushin Liger. Like, I wasn't familiar with him until I saw him in WCW. So, yeah. Anywho, main event for a Grand Slam on Dynamite was Mox taking on Darby Allin for number one contender for Bryan Danielson. Obviously, we knew Mox was going to win this one. So Mox did pick up the win, only to get attacked by Bryan Danielson, who came out with a tie and choked out Moxley.
I like it.
I thought was great because Bryan Danielson was originally part of the Nexus. Danielson got fired for choking out Justin Roberts on TV with his necktie. So it kind of makes me wonder, was he using Justin Roberts' tie to choke out Moxley? It was awesome. It was good. So,
he was setting the time in his closet. Waiting for the day to get its revenge.
Yeah, Grand Slam wasn't bad. I don't really have any complaints about like some of the matches that were on there. Even the Young Bucks versus Aussie Open was pretty good. Considering
I saw the saw when I saw TikToks. A lot of people were upset about the amount of finishers that were kicked out of in that match.
That is one thing. I'm going to compare this to the main event for TNA this week, which was Frankie Kazarian versus Joe Hendry. Number one contender. Winner takes on Nick Nemeth at Bound for Glory. So the way this match ended, Kaz ended up using the brass knuckles on Hendry to get the initial win. Nick Nemeth is like, I can't let this stand. You know, the better man needs to win this match. So he got up from the announce table, got the knucks, tried to show the ref like, hey, he used these. Another ref came out, backed up the claim. Santino comes out and says, restart the match. Match gets restarted. Joe Hendry is taking a minute to get up after, while this whole thing's going on. So he's like barely on his feet, but he's selling the shit out of the brass knuckle spot. Like that whole extra 2 minutes that match went. Like he's groggy, he's dazed, he's kind of barely doesn't know where he's at, and ends up getting the win anyway. Just complete fluke getting the win in the pin. And even after the match, getting his hand raised, he's still out of it from the brass knuckle shot. So you look at that aspect of the selling portion of it, and then you go around and you look at the Aussie Open and the Young Bucks match with the numerous finishers and them kicking out of finishers and, acting like they're all good. Like it didn't affect them at all after like a minute of, kicking out of that finisher. And to me, while the match was good, the Joe Hendry Frankie Kazarian match was 100 times better, in my opinion. As far as like the storytelling and the selling that went on in that match.
I mean, it's at a certain point, like you can go to the circus and watch acrobats do some acrobatic shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
doing a bunch of shit. Yeah, it's cool, but if you're not selling the moves, like, it gets a little ridiculous sometimes.
Absolutely. And you're going to sit there and tell me, oh, they're going to take the TK driver onto the edge of the ring apron, the hardest part of the ring, but still be able to get back up and do a fucking triple axel half gainer in the middle of the match after taking that TK driver on the hardest part of the ring, which they should be selling a little more with the head injury. So I just don't get it. So a lot of that stuff. Yeah. Back to TNA. Aside from that main event, we also saw Sol Ruca was the mystery partner for Jordan Grace.
Cool.
Match ended up getting thrown out. Tasha Steelz got involved and attacked Jordan Grace, which led to somebody else came out and kind of got involved to fight off Jordan Grace. Or not Jordan Grace.
Shawn Michaels.
Tasha Steelz. It wasn't Shawn Michaels. But we're getting a 6-woman tag match on Impact next week with Tasha Steelz and Rosemary and Wendy Chu versus Jordan Grace, Sol Ruca, and whoever came out to make the save. Why can I not fucking remember that? But yeah. Lei Ying Lee, the former Xia Li, debuted against indie wrestler Hyan, who was an opponent on Raw a few years back against Nia Jax. Really good match between the two of them. Hyan was very impressive in this. Lei Ying Lee showed off a little bit more of what she can do in the ring as opposed to what she was doing in WWE. So hopefully she gets a pretty good run in TNA. So, and that's my news and notes for the week.
Nice.
Anything to add?
I don't think so.
We got what Bad Blood is next weekend, right? Next Saturday.
Next Saturday, yep.
All right, so we will do we'll do picks for that next week. Let's look up something.
When is Crown Jewel?
No idea.
I am not sure on that one either. I'll have to look that up.
It should be fucking close, right?
I think it's November, isn't it? Usually in November, right before Survivor Series.
I thought the Liv Morgan Nia Jax. I've been drinking too much. Rhea Ripley Liv Morgan match. That's Crown Jewel, right?
No, that's Bad Blood.
That's bad. Oh, Bad Blood. What am I thinking?
Crown Jewel is November 2nd.
Why was I thinking Crown Jewel was next?
I don't know.
So when is Bad Blood?
Next weekend, Saturday.
Next weekend. Okay.
Yep.
That's what I meant. I don't know why I said Crown Jewel. For some reason I was thinking that was next.
All
right.
good, Frank.
It's all gravy, baby.
Heck yeah.
All right, let's hop over to my favorite segment, the Elite Figure of the Week.
Garrett, do you have a guess?
You saw the notes.
It's
Marty Jannetty.
no. I can't remember who it is. I saw it. It's like Warlord. Is that who
Coco
it is?
Beware.
It is the Warlord. It's funny, Marty Jannetty only has
Well-
one Mattel figure. And it came in it was a Rockers 2-pack, which I have. But this one is the Legends Greatest Hits Target exclusive Warlord and his singles Warlord gear. This is, in fact, a re-release from the 2017 Elite Series 50 Warlord, which I missed. So I was pretty psyched to see this one on the shelves and pick that up. The mask is removable. The ring gear is removable too. Get a pretty entrance gear.
So he gets butt naked?
Yeah, he gets butt naked, completely butt naked.
Nice.
See the amazing nude Warlord.
Does he have like the Ken thing, or does it have like a timely correct?
I think it's a Ken doll down there. Complete and total Ken doll. You gotta pop his head off. Oh, okay. There we go. So that comes off, and this little ring belt comes off too. So pretty cool. This is like the second Warlord. Well, technically, this one was the first one they did. Then they did the Powers of Pain Warlord, Series 87, which we will hopefully they can sign Barbarian someday, so we can finish that tag team off. But pretty solid figure. It was definitely in contention for figure of the year when it was released originally. So
Nice.
awesome figure. One of my favorites.
I thought Hulk Hogan won it every year.
Hogan's
Hulk
figures
Hogan
are
or
the
John,
same every year.
Hulk Hogan or John Cena, as many as they are, Rey Mysterio, as many as they have.
I haven't seen too many. Like the probably the one I would put in contention for a Hogan figure for figure of the year is that Survivor Series one that's got like the mask and the camouflage pants. So that one would probably be like the only one I'd put in that category or in contention for that. All right, Elite Figure of the Week. Let's hop over to No holds barred. Awesome stuff. All right, no
Carl,
holds barred.
Carl, how's it feel not to be the worst team in your division?
That's debatable.
I don't know, man. Jacksonville's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's debatable. I can't talk shit right now.
I mean, I think if you
We should
had
be
better,
we should be 2-1, but
you have a shit quarterback.
I don't
though.
know, man. Getting your ass handed to you by your fucking third string quarterback or previous third string quarterback is pretty humiliating.
Yep. Forgot who y'all playing this week. Gotta remember if I picked you. Or not.
We got Miami on Monday night.
Ah. Did I pick? I picked Miami. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, I will tell you, Carl, my upset of the week. If Justin Herbert plays, I think the Chargers beat the Chiefs.
I mean, I can see that happening.
Yep. It's been a
I could see
weird
that.
football season, I have to say. Been a
Yeah,
lot
man.
of
Like,
a lot of teams I didn't think were gonna winning. Been
Yeah.
crazy. Been a crazy time.
shit doesn't make sense.
No. I mean, who would have thought Minnesota would be 3-0 with a freaking backup quarterback, basically, who sucked
Yeah.
every year he's played freaking football.
It's a long season though, so you never know
Oh yeah.
how it's gonna end up.
Just glad I get to watch Aaron Rodgers play, even if it's for the Jets. He looked good last week.
So, we got our first overseas game this week, right?
I don't know. Let's see.
I want to say like somebody's playing in England.
I don't think
Nobody's playing
so.
in
All
England
these
this week,
games are 1:00.
or is it next week?
It's probably next week because all these games are like regular time. Let's look at next week. No, it's next week. Next week it's Jets at it's Jets in Minnesota.
Okay.
Yep. Which that'll be a good game.
Yeah.
Yep. A lot of fun. Ready for ready for MLB playoffs is what I'm waiting for.
Oh, are you?
Oh yeah.
What do you think about Oakland moving to Las Vegas?
You know, I don't really think I don't think Vegas is a good place for a baseball team. If you want my opinion, but I mean they had the
Well,
money.
yeah, it's one of those things where I saw a post like everybody in Oakland's upset now that I don't have any professional teams now because the Warriors went back to San Francisco and
And the
the
Raiders
A's
left.
went to Las Vegas and the Raiders went to Las Vegas.
I mean, the only thing you could blame is the city at that point.
Yeah, I mean they've been begging for new facilities for years.
They won't pay it.
And the old saying, if you build it, they will come. You build them a new stadium, and they will come. So.
I do have to say though, I really wish they'd put a Major League Baseball team in North Carolina. Be kind of nice.
Yeah, That would be kind of nice. I just don't know if North Carolina has the demographics for it.
I think it's a big base. I mean, I know there's a lot of like minor league baseball. I mean, there's a lot of people I know that like baseball, so I think they would do well. I think the issue would be is everybody would say it needs to be in Charlotte, and I think the Charlotte demographic isn't the demographic for it.
Where
Yeah.
would you even put a stadium in Charlotte?
I don't know. They'd
It's
figure
like-
out somewhere.
Because like the Hornets arena is like freaking downtown.
Yeah.
Like you'd have to put it
Sure.
like on the outskirts of Charlotte to do something like that.
I mean, the Panthers Stadium's downtown too.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
So-
I know the Charlotte's one, the Hornets one was downtown because I've gone.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, I've
last
been
time I
to a
stayed
few
down there.
Panthers games. So, but yeah, it's downtown too. I mean, to me, I feel like the better demographic would be Raleigh, but I don't know. They wouldn't have the revenue for it.
Yeah. Raleigh wouldn't have the revenue for it. That I don't think it's big enough to support a baseball, because baseball team is like, well, I don't know, they don't do a whole lot of like double headers and stuff anymore either. And then a lot of them have gone for smaller stadiums. So I don't know, they might be able to assist.
My only question with that though too, if they were to put an MLB team in North Carolina, would that take away from the minor league teams?
No.
Minor league team, I mean, a little bit, but not a lot. Like the minor league,
People
like
that
you still need the minor league.
Because like the Bulls, I mean, they're Tampa Bay Rays affiliate. So, but they've talked about for like a long time about putting a Major League Baseball team in North Carolina, but it's never happened. I mean, Oakland was definitely a team, but I didn't think it was going to be the team. I know. I think Tampa Bay has been one that they've talked about too, but I think they just got a new stadium, didn't they?
Yeah, Tampa just got a new stadium.
So, well, it's funny that both Florida teams are just garbage.
I know. At one point they were talking about expanding.
Yeah, I
teams,
remember that.
But
too.
I don't know. Because they're talking about Nashville getting a team, but if you're gonna put a team in Nashville, like I don't see why you'd put one in Carolina.
No, I agree. It's one or the
that'd be
other.
too
It's
close.
not both. That don't make sense. I agree with that one.
This is such a fucking waste.
What?
They have the House of Black wrestling fucking Top Flight on Rampage.
I didn't even know that. Didn't even know House of Black still wrestled.
Yeah, all three are back from injury. So
Interesting.
they're just wrestling Top Flight. Well, Action Andretti and Leo Rush from Top Flight. Such a waste.
Top Flight Security of the World Crick. I watched Inside Out on Disney with my kids. Streaming
Inside Out 2. That
Yeah.
was good. We saw it in the theater with the kids before they went back to school. But it was really good. I enjoyed that one. It's as good as the first one. We watched the Garfield movie tonight. That was streaming on Netflix. It was entertaining. So not 100% sold on Chris Pratt as the voice of Garfield, but it was okay.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird choice.
Yeah. Chris Pratt's got to be in everything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, trying to see. There's really anything good coming out this weekend, movie wise. Got Terrifier 3 coming out in 2 weeks.
You like Terrifier?
I watched the first one so far. I thought the first one was pretty good.
It's all right. To me, it's kind of like it's more of like gore porn than like scary.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not definitely like I prefer like the slasher horror flicks like Scream and Nightmare on Elm Street and like those ones. So it's just I don't know.
I mean, I like scary movies, like all different kinds.
Yeah.
Like demonic and uh slashers. It's just I don't know. To me, it was more. It's kind of like the the first Saw was like really good, but then like the rest of Saw, kind of like Saw to me, it's like just
Yeah.
kind of like turned to like kind of like gory stuff, but it's not really like scary. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, there was a lot of like in that first Terrifier, there was a lot of cool like visual stuff that they did, like with the gore
Yeah,
and like and that stuff, which I thought looked cool on screen. Um, like spoilers if anybody hasn't watched it. They have one part where like Art the Clown takes this girl's friend and he's got her hanging upside down and then proceeds to cut her in half.
yeah,
So and it was the way they did it, like the actual like prosthetics and stuff they use, like the body um like the double or whatever, the fake body that they use is actually really good. Like super
yeah,
lifelike. So
yeah. The first one was kind of decent. It's just like it's like anything else. Like after the first one, it's kind of
yeah.
just
That's
gets
I felt the same way with Saw as you did. Like the first Saw movie was really good. Like it had a great premise to it. Like it wasn't like overly gory compared to what they did after like Saw 2. Because Saw 2 wasn't that good. Wasn't as good as the first one, but it wasn't as bad as the third one. And then they kind of is like, well, how do we outdo ourselves with these traps? How do we make these traps more, you know, how do we get more gore out of these traps and stuff? So it's just
yeah.
like the premise of the first one was great when you had like the two guys locked in the room and it's like you got to do this, this, and this to get out of here, and so it's definitely a better story.
Okay, so just sticking with his Ernest Scared Stupid.
Letting Neil talk. Oh, good.
Garrett doesn't like scary movies.
Halloween.
I'm not a big scary movie guy.
Garrett's favorite scary movies, fucking Halloween Town.
I do. I like Halloween Town.
I don't like Halloween Town. Now, when I do like, and this would be a good one for you, Chris, to see if you've ever seen. Have you ever seen The Ghost of Mr. Chicken?
Yes,
I do. I love that movie with Don Knotts.
love Don
It's
Knotts.
fucking great.
Oh man, that movie is so good, so good.
My dad and my granny turned me on to that movie. It was pretty good.
I made my kids watch
It's the
Ernest Scared Stupid last year.
That's another good one.
That's one that one and Ernest Goes to Camp are probably my two favorite Ernest movies.
Yeah, Ernest Scared Stupid's probably number one. And then I like that Ernest Goes to Jail. It was pretty cool.
The freaking part where they put him in the electric chair and it gets like magnetic powers.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's some of the dumbest shit, but it was awesome. I love the Ernest Goes to Camp because they made that camper or the bus in like this fucking battle wagon. It's freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm. Shout out to Purdy Milk.
Awesome stuff there. Oh man, I saw earlier this week too that Deadpool and Wolverine had a release date for streaming.
Once it does, you need to watch it, and we can talk about it.
At this point, I've probably seen like every fucking spoiler for it.
I'm sure you have.
Accidentally, yeah.
Get to watch. Which Wolverine movie was it that had Deadpool in it?
Wolverine Origins.
Origins, yeah.
That movie sucked.
Watch that. Oh, you thought it sucked, dude?
It did suck.
You didn't like Cotton Weary with the fucking claws?
Oh, so bad. So you're looking at October 1st for streaming. Buy or rent as far as streaming goes. Then Blu-ray releases October 22nd.
Nice.
No date released yet for Disney Plus.
Oh, the fucking 3 of the kids from Seventh Heaven came out with a rewatch podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I watched it.
So just rewatching episodes of Seventh Heaven.
Well, they didn't show like them watching it. They just went over some of the stuff like from it.
Oh,
But yeah,
Yeah, there's a
It's
lot
like
of there's a lot of shows that do that.
there's a Saved by the Bell podcast where fucking the guy that plays Zach Morris is going through and rewatching certain episodes of Saved by the Bell and giving his thoughts on them.
I see. The Charlie from the Mighty Ducks is in like a TV show with what's that dude's name? Nash Bridges? Not Nash Bridges. What's that dude's name? What's the dude from Nash Bridges' name? It was like in Miami Vice.
Oh, Don Johnson.
Don Johnson. Don Johnson and Charlie from Mighty Ducks have a TV show coming out where he's like a doctor on a boat or something. I saw it advertised all over everything.
Doctor on a boat.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, Charlie from Mighty Ducks is a doctor on a boat.
Nice. Yeah, I was gonna say I used to listen to Zach Braff and Donald Faison had a Scrubs rewatch show. It was really funny.
There was a YouTube thing that had like a Zach Morris's trash thing. I don't know if you ever seen that. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
Where they
So
like
how much
rewatch
was it?
Saved by the
How much of an asshole Zach Morris is.
Which was, yeah. Zach Morris is trash. That was pretty good.
Watch some of those. Like they picked out the one of them I saw. They picked out the episode where he falls for like the homeless chick
Yeah.
that's working in the mall. Yeah, he's like an intentional ass, like an unintentional ass. So it's
Yeah.
doesn't realize it.
Yeah, I think I did some dude that did a thing where he was he did like a Karate Kid video where he was like explaining that Daniel was like the antagonist and in the movie. You seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you
that was
look at
pretty
it, if you look at it, Daniel LaRusso was the bad guy in the movie.
I mean,
Mhm.
they did that in How I Met Your Mother.
And he won with an illegal kick to the face.
Very true.
The hell they do that Angelico? He's out here fucking dancing like a jackass.
Chris, what you're saying right now is why I don't watch AEW.
And he's wrestling Takeshita, so he's gonna lose. Like, oh,
All right.
Because Tony Khan
fucking
is an
ridiculous.
awesome kind. You get
Okay,
He's something.
that's right.
need something here. All right. I don't have anything else for No Holds Barred. Do you guys have anything else?
I'm good.
I think I'm good. Can't think of anything else off the top of my head.
All right. Awesome stuff. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us for this week then. Appreciate you guys checking us out like we do each and every other week. Like we mentioned earlier in the show, make sure you check us out on all of our social media outlets. TikTok, Instagram, X. I think we got a Threads account, Facebook, YouTube. If you're watching us live, go ahead and like and subscribe to the
Leave
Facebook
us a
page,
comment.
Facebook.com. Comment too. I mean, if you get awesome back rubs from Garrett, make sure you let us know.
Yeah.
Mr. Alfredo Wigglesworth. Don't know who you are. That's okay.
Seems like you're ready.
Awesome. All right, well, that'll do it for us this week. This is episode 253. We'll be back with you next week. We'll drop our picks for Bad Blood, and recap whatever else is going on for the rest of the wrestling week. And I'll give you my final thoughts on the Mr. McMahon documentary on Netflix as I watch the final episode. Great stuff.
Next.
On behalf of myself, Chris the Heat Matthews, the Tennessee Jesus, Carl Crossland, and Garrett G Money Munn. Again, this is episode 253 of the WrestleGeddon podcast. We'll chat with y'all next week. Later, Marks.